Hi, everybody, and welcome to Tiller-Hewitt Healthcare Strategies. I'm Kim Grant, and today I'm pleased to be interviewing Nancy Herin, who is a past colleague of mine. Sadly, I don't get to see her near as much as I used to. She is the Provider Recruitment and Onboarding Manager at Dayton Children's Hospital. Hi, how are you, Nancy?
I'm good. How are you?
I know, I miss you.
I know, same here. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. We're very excited to hear about some of your new experiences. I think many of people know that you have been a physician liaison at Dayton Children's, but probably right before COVID, maybe you moved into a new role at Dayton Children's as the onboarding and recruitment manager. And so today I just want to talk to you a little bit about, kind of three things. What are the differences between being a liaison and your new role? I know you're going to share with us some interesting things about the family and how that plays into onboarding and retention for that matter. And then I also know you're going to share with us a story, a personal story to really drive home why the family component is so important. So let's start off by talking about what are the main differences you feel between your role as a liaison and now your role sort of moving into recruit. We know what recruitment is, but maybe more of the onboarding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, as a liaison with the hospital, I was involved in parts of their onboarding, but most of it was after they had signed their contract, after they had started with. So, being involved from the very beginning with recruitment, getting to know the provider, their family, what they need, and making onboarding more of a full experience, a full immersive experience, has really been the changer with this new position. So not only do I get to help them out in the beginning of their employment with us, but I get to help them through their entire journey of onboarding and recruitment and retention here at Dayton Children's.
Wow, that's great. So I mentioned the family piece, and I think a
Mhm.
lot of times we know the family is important, but we don't really incorporate that into our onboarding duties. So do you do that at Dayton Children's? And if so, what are some of the things you do to help with that piece of it?
That's a great question. And research shows that if a family is involved, a provider will stay, with the retention will be there. So here at Dayton Children's, we make a big push to make sure that the family feels comfortable. And that is a very large part of our pre-hire recruitment and onboarding experience here at Dayton Children's. We not only talk to the spouse, the provider we want to hire, but we speak and interview their spouses, their kids. We try to figure out exactly what they need here in Dayton or the surrounding region, to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel at home. And we make those connections for them. And that's really proven to be very successful. And it wasn't something that we had done previously. It's something we had always talked about doing. But now that we're actually able to dedicate a person to making those calls and making those connections, it's really been beneficial.
Well, I can't think of a better person than you to be that welcoming person to the hospital for new providers. So that was
You
pretty
know,
smart on someone's part to hire you.
thank
Um,
you.
So I know off camera we talked about an actual story. Like, we say we do this, but you shared with me an example of how and why this family component is so important. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we have a pretty high level provider that we're bringing on board here in a month. I had the privilege to meet with her about 4 to 5 months ago during her recruitment process. I was able to meet her husband. We actually connected her husband with a financial institution in the community because that was his background and he was looking for a job. So that was kind of a good starter. Part of what we do with hiring a new provider and making sure their family feels comfortable and they don't have to worry about a whole lot during the pre-hire processes. We help them with their relocation. So this provider was coming from another state. She asked for relocation assistance. So we helped her with a real estate agent. We connected her with a moving company, that we use a contractor to make that connection. And then we said, great, we'll see you in a couple months.
Mhm.
And a few weeks ago, I got a call from this provider. And unfortunately, it was mid move. I knew the date she was going to be moving, and she called me pretty upset, and said, Nancy, I don't know who else to reach out to. I don't know what to do. This move is not going how we had hoped it would. So I, was able to calm her down. I thanked her for calling me. Again, it's great to have a person in your institution that can be the main point of contact. If there's questions or anything does go wrong pre-hire. So she called me. I spoke with her. I spoke with her husband. We figured out what the issue was. I was able to calm them down. I was able to take the concerns and do issue resolution with the moving company and with our contractor. And they felt so comfortable with me that they invited me over. I went to their home. Yeah. So I went to their home.
That does not surprise me.
I was able to meet their 3-month-old baby. I was able to help them with the claims that they needed to file for this particular situation and say, you know what? Don't do anything. You just take care of that baby and take care of getting, accustomed to the Dayton community and let me handle all of this. And they said that would be amazing. So they were able to give me those responsibilities. I ran with it and we came up with a resolution that everyone was happy with. And they were just so thankful because they were like, we don't know who we would have gone to. We don't know if we would have had this situation be so positive in the end if we hadn't had you. So it was very rewarding as a person in my position.
Oh, I'm sure. And, we talk about it all the time, communication. And thankfully you were that point person and they felt comfortable reaching out to you. And I also love that you use the term issue resolution. That's a liaison term. And, but it's common sense, right? It's common sense. And we know they're nervous to begin with. And
it also speaks to, you have a physician sign a contract, say they don't start for 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
You need to keep being involved in them during that period because something like this could happen and they might not know who to reach out to. So if you're that person that keeps reaching out to them and saying, hey, is everything going okay? You're more likely to find those things that you can maybe help with.
That's a great point. Keeping in contact with them during those months is a great point. Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much. I would love to spend more time talking with you. Let's just take this offline and have a lunch or something soon because I do miss you. But thank you again for your insight. I look forward to watching you and your career take off because I know you're only destined for good things in your future. So thanks again.
So much, Kim. I greatly appreciate the time today, and I will take you up on that offer.
Awesome. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.